All right, hello everybody. Welcome to Wombo eSports Season 2, Week 5, Game 1. We have tonight iiiii versus A.P.E.S. We have all of the same teammates here on all the respective teams, so we have no subs tonight. I will be joined in about 15-20 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, by Quinstone, who will be casting with me. The first part of the cast tonight will be a little bit quieter, wrapping up a work call, but we'll be ready for our first game once we load in. So we are just about ready to get started with our draft, and we will head over there right now. For any of the teams who are watching, if you want to go ahead and click start, I am ready with the stream. Look forward to seeing you guys on the Rift and in this draft. All right, draft has wrapped up. We have all of our picks, we have all of our bans. We will be heading over back into the client to get the game started.
Hey, never pick a fight you can't win.
Okay. You would not stay in the void. Once again, a woman's left unsatisfied. May you die with your eyes closed. I must not fall.
My genius will be understood eventually.
Flee, and a spear would find your back.
Howdy.
Hello, welcome. We have, or at least I have just loaded into the game. Sadly, experiencing similar technical difficulties as casting and streaming yesterday. Hopefully able to get this up and running shortly.
Oh, it's turbo black. Oh no.
Super fun, absolutely. So everybody,
Yikes.
appreciate everybody's patience as we work on these technical difficulties. Quinstone, in the meantime, picks and bans have been posted in the Picks and Bans channel. Can you talk through your thoughts about those?
Yeah, sure. I'll talk about bands here. Oh my god. Shut up, client. You're so loud. I don't like hearing the music. Anyway, so Apes bans, the first three make sense. You get rid of the invisible people. They just wreak havoc. That's pretty simple. And Seraphine. And not to flame Seraphine mains, but I've come to understand the pretty much ease of use what you get with Seraphine. You know, just like, oh man, you just, hit two people with the ult, bang, did your job. You got good wave clear from safety. It's pretty good. So it's such a good flex pick nowadays, and it's not even getting nerfed that much next pass, so that makes sense as a good ban. Now, i5's ban, that makes sense. Set, which is really good into i5's general team comps of general front to back. And if you have a person that is willing to get in and go and take the back or the front to the back, and with Kolossal Kortex being such an excellent pilot of the champion, it makes sense. Trundle makes sense. Ban into Ornn, i5's classic top lane pick. Steals all those stats. Kai'Sa, a hyper carry that you don't want to get fed. We've seen Cheez get through it all. So this seems like pretty standard draft from everywhere, except I would have loved to see Darius instead of Garen, personally. I think Garen is kind of just too linear, and Darius can, really stack up on Ornn and Tahm Kench and then take that to the rest of the fight. I can only watch. Oh, okay. So you don't even have the game going. Anyway, with all that being said, looking at it, TK from Urcha Merchant. Is that a Morgana mid? No. Wait, where's TK? Morgana
TK.
jungle? Is it Morgana jungle?
That is a fabulous question. Unfortunately, the stream is still not going for me, and League of Legends client has actually force quitted me out. And there's not going to be a way to get back into the game to spectate game 1. So we will probably talk a little bit more about what we're seeing. I'll pop over.
Okay.
Zanrick is actually in the same room as me, so I can pop over and let you know what lanes folks are in. We'll need to go back and re-record game 1 for this one for sure.
All right. Okay, so since we're here, I thought we had a rush, but no, there's no rush. Okay. So what do you think about i5's general game plan?
I think they have really good objective control. They pick solid teams that have a lot of CC, and we're seeing some of the same here as well in this game.
Yeah, so I'd like to think it's like very tight and well-controlled ultimate usage from i5 personally. So they definitely position themselves in place generally back to front, and in places where all of the ults are going to be getting their maximum efficiency, right? MF ult, Malzahart is for the anti-dive. Ornn, obviously AoE knockup that applies brittle, huge. TK is there to peel the MF or actually pick targets with the Morgana. So this seems very much in their wheelhouse for sure. Now Apes, it seems a little bit more solo QE for me. Kale's got a lot of scaling, and she's gonna be able to shred tanks eventually. It's just gonna take her so long to do that, and with Malzahar being able to probably push Kale in, I'm not the biggest fan of the Kale pick, especially in mid lane. I can understand top lane where you can kind of just ignore things, but mid lane is way too influential a role to safely stick a Kale there. I'm not the biggest fan. Kolossal Kortex on Garen, pretty good into tanks and into these teams where he can't really be kited other than, Malzahar ult, nothing's really gonna slow him down and stop him from doing all this stuff, other than Malzahar and maybe TKE, like Tom Kench ult. So Sammy Summers makes sense for the Apes game plan, because they're generally, I think, a very momentum based. If Zanrick really finds a really pivotal engage, he's gonna find it, and then the rest of the team's really gonna really pile on, and it's gonna be a lot of. I think they have relatively similar game plans. It's just, I think i5 has a little bit more flexibility in what they can do with it, where Apes is very much more linear. Not to say it's worse. I'm just saying um, get in there, do as much damage as you can, and try to get like picks while the other team is disorganized. The thing is, I don't think it's a good matchup, because I think i5 is never really disorganized. It's going to take a lot of pressure to really put people down and make them, make them afraid. But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Apes here, especially with the aggression we see from Zanrick. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I have to say I agree with all of the discussion so far, and I do want to point out really quick that it is a Morgana jungle, so that is Isotera who took Morgana jungle. Ornn is in the top lane. Tom Kench is the fabulous support coming out from Urchin Merchant, Malzahar mid with emminik, and RIPDusty on Misfortune in the bot.
All right, everything makes sense. I don't know how Morgana. I know it was nerfed. I don't see it that often anymore, and I just don't think it's like a pick we'd want to see Isotera on, right? I guess it's more facilitator pick, but like, in my opinion, I think i5 is a little low on damage. If they don't hit all of their ults, their team fight is not super excellent. Whereas 3 people or 4 people on Apes are going to be having keystones like Conquer or Lethal Tempo. I hope. I can't really see. Can I spectate?
Alas, we cannot spectate custom games, so we will not be able to view it this time. It's very frustrating. I'm so sorry to everybody who's watching that we will not be able to stream the first game. We will absolutely capture it later and post it as a VOD at a later time.
Why do you think this is happening? Like, what?
I am not sure. It might be a computer issue on my end. I don't know that the other streamers have had the same difficulties. Custom tool earlier and practice tool before worked just fine for me. But alas, when we're live.
So much. Yikes.
Yikes. So hopefully we can get to game 2 just fine. I can peep over at Zanrick's screen as he's playing to give some updates here and there, but otherwise I think we'll be stuck as is for now.
Yeah, I guess we just kind of come back and see if we can do it again.
Yep. We will talk in game 2. I'll go ahead and definitely mute. We will all be back after their game ends, probably in about 25-30 minutes, and we'll keep you guys posted on how things are going.
All right. Sounds good. We'll see you then.
See you then, everybody. All right. Hello, folks. We are back. Game 1 has wrapped up. We'll give some updates here in just a moment.
Yeah.
All right. So, as we mentioned, Game 1 unfortunately was not able to be streamed due to technical difficulties on the side of the streaming. Thank you all for your patience as we wrapped up Game 1. It has now ended, and we will be moving into the wait period before Game 2 begins. Hopefully we'll have more success there. But as a quick overview, hopefully you see on the screen the final stats page that we have. So it looks like we had a loss from... apologize, A.P.E.S was blinking there for a second, with the first win going... the win for the first game going to iiiii. You can see here the final scoreline for the winning team was 35 kills, 18 deaths, and 69 assists. So lots of team fights, lots of roaming as a group. And we will grab the stats from the Game 1. Again, we will stream it at a later date for everybody's reference. But feel free to take a look at the item builds, kills and assists, and gold, etc. while we get ready for Game 2. Alright folks, welcome back. We will be starting up game 2 of i5 versus the A.P.E.S. As we saw in game 1, i5 took the first game. Looking forward to getting draft started in just a moment. The teams have begun to join in our tournament draft here in the client. Once everybody's in, we will get the draft started. Loving all the love that we're getting for emminik so far. I've seen a little bit from Urchin Merchant as well. Giving up some good props. And RIPDusty regarding Cheez, I too am a big Cheez fan, and I am also a big fan of pepper jack. It's good on sandwiches, it's good on burritos, it's good on just many things. Crackers too, just keeps going. Charcuterie boards are one of my favorites. It's definitely a food group. You know, Lensslayer, I have to say, I feel like American cheese, as much as it is not among my top favorite cheeses, it does melt really, really well, and he's definitely somewhere along those lines. Alright, so it'll just be me moving forward into game 2. Unfortunately, Quinstone had a conflict and needed to hop out, but we are getting started here with draft. So now over to draft, we see that the first ban, whew, A.P.E.S does not want to see that Time Kench again. Can't blame them for that. I have felt the same myself. And we see the second ban will be going to the Trundle. Got an Evelyn ban for Isotera, who plays Evelyn quite frequently and extremely well. Vision or no vision, excellence, I should say, on the other team. Got a Kaisa ban coming out from i5. Believe directed toward the bot lane with Cheez. And a Pike ban, which is a very commonly played champ, also by Urchin Merchant. And lastly, a set ban for Kolossal Kortex in the top lane. Alright, so we see our first picks are Seraphine and Yasuo. Folks in the chat, what do you think? Are these two folks going mid? As that is not a Seraphine onto emminik, that is in fact a Seraphine onto somebody on A.P.E.S. I think that's going mid with Ihiri. I think that's going bot with Cheez. Maybe she's going jungle. Who knows? Maybe not jungle. Oh, and we have somebody did not click. It is Yone as the second pick from i5. So we have the Wind Bros. Looks like I am not the only one who's having trouble with my streams and the internet, as emminik is also having some breakup on that side. So that is a Yone Yasuo on i5. Next we see a Vex coming out for A.P.E.S, which might be throwing us for a loop. Those are... who's going bot? Who's going mid? We'll have to find out. And we see another APC utility. Lots of CC coming out with a Lulu pick, which presumably will be going in support in the bot lane. So far seeing a lot of CC from A.P.E.S, and i5 has got a lot of knock-up blockage potential with Yasuo and Yone. Still having internet troubles on the side of emminik. Third pick is Ornn, which is not a surprise as top laner there. With I Love Lucy, plays a very strong, very safe Ornn that gives a lot of support and facilitation for team fights later on. So going through our second round of bans here, we have Pantheon coming out from I5, and potentially hovering a Diana here on A.P.E.S. Alright, quickly updating, even though we don't have their icons, just to show everybody that we have Yon and an Ornn pick. And our last bans have come out with Viego and Lilia. Ah, and we're back with getting some picks on the board. Fabulous. I am excited to see Zilean once again from Urchin Merchant. And the game last night definitely took the game away just a little bit with some of those double bombs with the stun and then reviving his teammates who have died. Plus, you know, just running in circles around big tanky folks. So excited to see this happen here in this game as well. Garen coming out for, I believe, Kolossal Kortex on the top side on A.P.E.S. Definitely helps with some of the rundown to catch some of these other teammates who will be going fast due to Zilean or dashing around in the case of Yasuo and Yone. A.P.E.S hovering and Olaf there as the last pick for their jungler. And Olaf is locked in, so we are waiting with bated breath to see the last pick for I5. And a Gwen pick comes out. Alright, so both teams have wrapped up their picks and their bans. We'll be moving over into tournament draft again and getting going once everybody is ready to hit the go button after everybody is in their spots. So, folks in the chat, what are our thoughts about these picks and these bans so far? I know we didn't get a chance to see game one, so it's a little hard to say where some of the bans were coming from and maybe some of the choices with picks as well. Be excited to hear about that a little bit more in post-game chat. But thoughts around what some of the strengths and weaknesses are for these team comps. Goose, thank you, appreciate that. Lulu OP, Gonna be a lot of schmoovin' happening out there. Alright, so fingers crossed, everybody. Give good vibes, give good juju this way. Hopefully we are able to load in well to the game. Hopefully no black screen of death or doom comes upon us this day. We'll give just a minute as the game hopefully loads. Alright folks, we are loaded into the game here. We have an almost 5-point defense with some grouping up near the top side of the map. Nobody lands anything on anybody so far. So everybody's just moving back into position where they want to be. Isotera sneaking up a little bit on this Vex, getting some vision there around Raptor Camp. And that ward will stay.
Minions have spawned.
Great point from Phantom Gamer HD. Both teams have no siege, but they do have great split. So this is going to be a game of 1v1s incoming. I agree. I think there will be a lot of dueling, smaller team fight skirmishes again throughout as well. So both junglers are starting on the bot side of the map. Just making sure we are up to speed. I think we are good to go there. I love kind of taking the long way around to get to wolves. Deciding not to give vision, knowing that that ward was placed by Isotera, not wanting to be seen where he will be on the map for Dorski. So Dorski going straight to blue instead of stopping at wolves. Getting some pokes here on across the lanes. Alright, so Ornn has gotten vision on the top side of the map, as has Yone in the mid lane. In bot lane we have some bombs and damage coming out. Kolossal Kortex taking a little bit of extra damage there from the Ornn as Ornn pushes in. Olaf seeing the opportunity to gank. A gank is coming in on top side of the map. Dorski and Kolossal Kortex focusing I Love Lucy down. Whew, knock up on I Love Lucy, has to flash away. Ignite is going off. One last Q. It is not enough for Dorski to get I Love Lucy. So I Love Lucy making it out alive, heading back to the base. In the bot lane we have some trades happening close to A.P.E.S' tower. We got level 3s coming out for i5. Not quite there just yet for A.P.E.S. Whew, she's taking tons of damage from Merchant. In the mid lane we see emminik coming in on Ihiri, who gives some silencing or some fearing. So not losing too much health there. Isotera is invading Dorski here on the top side of the map. Decides, nope, those are not your wolves, they are mine. Thank you very much. Gonna head out of town now. So Dorski heading down to Raptors, knowing that the word has now expired. But Isotera is saying, hey, I see that juicy mid laner coming in for Ihiri. Getting some damage off, but Ihiri is able to escape to tower safely and will live to fight another day. But Isotera knows that Olaf will be here at Raptor Camp, and so they are looking at each other there in the jungle. Isotera is wrapping around with the red buff. Says, aha, I know these Krugs are here, and I want them to be mine. Dorski trying to contest. And the bot lane coming to rotate just a little bit. Dorski's able to finish up Krugs, thankfully. Just the big monster was taken. Top side of the map, I Love Lucy is pushing Kolossal Kortex in, who's getting lower on health, but now should be able to farm safely under tower. So we're going to be looking at Dragon here probably pretty soon. Currently Isotera has taken the Scuttle Camp, is looking to support emminik mid, but probably knows that can't quite take the fight here just yet. RIPDusty and Urchin Merchant coming onto Zanrick. Not quite enough to take him down. So very strong pressure from i5 pushing into the towers across the map. We see Isotera is doing some serious counter jungling here. Olaf coming for a gank in the bot side, Lulu trying to speed him up. Not quite able to get there before Urchin and Dusty are able to get safe closer to their tower. Isotera looking to potentially dive Kolossal Kortex here, but decides, you know what, I'm just going to take this Blast Cone. We'll see where things go from here. Knowing that that wolf camp is probably up, believe she is deciding to wrap around and take that as well. i5's bot lane looking to clear some vision. I don't know that anybody is going to be trying to take Dragon just yet, but that is certainly on these teams' minds. Whew, that is going to be tough on Olaf. Now down a little bit over 10 minions. Now just recognizing that the camps are gone as Isotera has invaded. Probably going to be looking for a gank on the top side of the map with I Love Lucy pushing in, and Isotera backing away toward Krugs. So here we see Dorski coming in to gank. Focusing I Love Lucy, who does not have flash at this time. Not quite enough of an ult from Kolossal Kortex, but I Love Lucy does go down. That is first blood onto Kolossal Kortex for A.P.E.S. Well played. Yoni teleporting mid. And we see bot lane on i5 looking to get the first plate there as well. Taking a look at who has a good chunk of gold, we see that, no surprise, Kolossal Kortex with that first blood gold has over 2,000. But not too far behind is Yasuo and Gwen. Lots of power farming happening from Isotera. So Kolossal Kortex getting one plate topside, pushing the wave in, recognizing that, man, we don't have a ton of vision. Maybe I'm going to get one of those real quick so I don't get ganked here on the top side of the map. Coming in close. Ooh, it could be a 1v3 here. Sees emminik coming. Probably now sees Isotera as well. Deciding, you know what? I'm just going to walk away. This is probably a good time to back. emminik going in on Ihiri in the mid lane, but not quite enough to do the damage, and we see that Dorski and bot lane for A.P.E.S are going for a dragon, and they are going to be taking it for free. There's no vision from the side of i5 to see that it's happening, and they are not quite positioned for it to take it in any case. However, we are seeing some rotation mid by jungler and support from A.P.E.S, but emminik is too close to his tower for them to be able to do enough damage or take a kill there. Isotera is now also floating around the mid lane, but in the meantime, top lane skirmish is happening between Kolossal Kortex and iiiii. Nobody going down quite yet. Alright, so despite the dragon take and the kill, we do still see a gold lead for i5 here. It's a little over 800 roughly. My math skills are not the best. That is why we have technology to help us do calculations. But they are still up. Now it is 6k, I apologize. So we will see how this fight continues. There is a lot of really good farming happening on the side of i5. But skirmish in the mid lane with emminik going in on Ihiri, iiiii coming in to provide some challenging presence, but it will not be enough to take Ihiri's life this time. He was playing very safe, very smart, good countering to the engages from emminik with the fears. Dorski being seen by a pink ward on the bot side of the map. Just gonna clear that and probably head back to jungle. And Rift has been started by Gwen, Isotera on the top side of the map. There is no vision from A.P.E.S to see that she is taking it. And there are pink wards galore up on the top side, so I believe that will go for free to i5. Which we know with the recent patch that Rift Heralds are very strong right now, having that extra health to take down more turret. So Rift has been taken by Isotera, who is now doing invading again. Olaf is not too far away, doing the wolves there at the same time that Isotera has taken the blue buff, but has decided, some spidey senses are tingling, and decided, you know what, just gonna take that and get out. Very smart, very strategic play there. Isotera is really strongly ahead with some of the farm there, with 25 CS higher than Dorski, and having taken the Rift Herald as well. Kolossal Kortex coming in says, nope, you do not get to have the scuttle. It will be mine. I will get you as well. The ignite and the ult not quite enough to save kill Isotera, who will back or stay safely out of the way as this fight continues onto iiiii. They may try to dive here anyway. Isotera gets back safely. They decide not to dive under tower. But they may sweep back around to the front side, depending on how they're feeling. So Isotera and iiiii safely make it back. Lots of really good vision on the top side of the map, as well as some super solid deep vision on the A.P.E.S side of the map from i5. So the next time Olaf comes down, they will be able to see him. Junglers competing around the Raptors. Isotera coming in on Dorski, who's making a break for it. Getting out of range, needs to flash to get out of emminik's ult. Not quite enough for emminik to get the kill onto Dorski, who backs out closer to the tower. Damage still coming under tower on the bot side of the map. Slowly, i5 is taking some of the plates down there. But nobody else has gotten a kill, and we are over 12.5 minutes in. But we might see something happening on the top side of the map with iiiii and Kolossal Kortex. Gotta be careful of those walls. It can be dangerous. So Isotera popping Rift Herald in the mid lane. Ihiri doing his best to bring Rift Herald down. Unfortunately, Rift is able to get a charge on the tower, but the tower does not go down. Isotera continuing to do some some invading and jungling here, not on her side of the map. Getting really good vision. Holy cow, look at all that vision on the bot side of the map for i5. So they will know exactly where Dorski is. Isotera lying in wait, but not knowing that there is a ward already there. Looking to come in on Dorski. Gonna be chasing him down up here. Bot lane is moving to rotate, but emminik has rotated quicker. And they are able to get a kill onto Dorski. Or from Dorski, I should say. That kill has gone to emminik, so that will definitely help as they scale. Ihiri coming a little late to the fight, trying to wander away. emminik is not quite able to get there. And Ihiri doing some damage as Ihiri moves back to lane. But they definitely have the presence and the pressure for Dragon to be able to be taken by Isotera. And Isotera is beginning the Dragon. Bot lane for A.P.E.S is going to be backing here. Urchin Merchant trying to do a little bit to prevent them from backing, but knowing that they will be able to take Dragon safely anyway. And plates have gone down, so bot lane, i5's bot lane is able to take the first tower on the bot side of the map. Fortunately, Kolossal Kortex has been working at that top side tower, and it goes down second. Skirmish happening in the mid lane between Ihiri and emminik, with Zanrick coming to support. emminik going in on Ihiri, but zips right back. Ooh, the ult lands from Ihiri. emminik flashes away, then ults back in. Really good ult from Lulu. Saving Ihiri under tower. Ah! Doesn't quite step away in time, but does get a kill onto emminik. Vice versa, emminik trades to get Vex as well. Ooh, Isotera not having vision on Dorski and Zanrick, who are coming in. Dorski ults to try to continue. Can't be disabled. Rundown continues, and then it stops, knowing that they do not quite have vision deeply into the jungle. Don't want to get caught out by the rest of the team. Kolossal Kortex looking around mid, seeing the Urchin and RIPDusty there, deciding to back off and go back top. So Cheez going back to the bot lane to get some pressure onto that tower as Zanrick moves back to cover mid. Don't believe the tower will go down, but they're going to be looking for it, that's for sure. Ooh. Tower does not go down, but it is unfortunately a cardboard box. It does not have very many legs to stand on. On the top side of the map, Kolossal Kortex and iiiii engaging in a solid fight. iiiii able to get the ults off. Zhonya's to save any kind of silence from Kolossal Kortex, who then decides to walk away. Does see Isotera coming in, hanging back a little bit, but Isotera may go for this dive anyway. Fabulous Garen passive heal coming in to help sustain in lane. Yone, emminik pushing on the bot side of the map as the bot laners are swapped into mid. We have Rift Herald up as well, and that will be the next objective for both of these teams. So emminik does not have a wave, moving back to taxi it or to head back. Mid lane they're looking to, they just need one auto, but cannot quite get close enough just yet. Stun coming out onto Cheez. Not going to be enough to begin a proper team fight here. But this is going to be a 3v3 with some pressure for Garen in the top side of the map to be able to rotate down as needed. Really good Seraphine clear to keep the wave off of the tower, to protect it from falling. Kolossal Kortex, tons of health, just going on to iiiii. Big ult, it does end iiiii for this fight. However, Kolossal Kortex is in a bad way with a bunch of teammates coming, but thankfully the bomb from Zilean does not land, and he's able to get out safely. Isotera is going to be backing, so this could be a good opportunity for A.P.E.S to take Rift Herald. Probably going to be looking for this team fight first. Olaf and emminik encountering each other in the river. Not quite deciding to fight there. And Ihiri lying in wait in Raptor Pit to potentially get an ult off. Alright, so looking at the farm while we take a minute here. Ooh! Zanrick's back has been stopped by RIPDusty. Kolossal Kortex has started the Rift Herald, Isotera coming in to stop him. But the whole team, both teams are coming to engage. I'm going to need to figure out who to prioritize and how. Good stun bomb coming out from Urchin Merchant as they continue the Rift Herald. So it is on A.P.E.S. They've decided to back off. They're going to wait for a better team fight here. Yone coming in onto Cheez, who is able to get the ult off just before falling down. Dorski also falls to emminik. Kolossal Kortex and Zanrick trying to make their way out. Not quite able to get there for Kolossal Kortex, but he does take one down with him, so Isotera does not get to live to see that Rift Herald go into her pocket. But I5 will be going on to Rift Herald anyway, and probably will be able to get it as there is no contest at this time from A.P.E.S. But in the meantime, Dragon is up, and we'll see how folks decide to rotate for that one. So we have a 5-1 Yone. Yikers, that is a 400 gold bounty right there. That is a tasty, tasty Yone. So hard to get in there when he comes forward and then snaps back to his body, especially when the rest of the team is hanging around to prevent any kind of bad is happening there. Decides to pop Rift Herald immediately on the top lane, knowing that at least the first tower will go down before anybody comes to contest. Won't be able to get probably to the second tower is being stopped by Kolossal Kortex, so a second charge is not able to go off. But Dorski has started Dragon, and there is a fight happening around that side of the map. We have a proper 3v3 right here, but it is about to become a 4v4. Vex is a little bit slow to get there. Dorski has to flash out of the pit to survive. It is now a 4v5. Ooh, big ults from Yone onto our Cheez. He's able to live thanks to big Lulu ult. And they are being slow to take this dragon as there's the fight happening. Polymorph from Ornn to prevent that ult from going off. But Ornn is able to pop away into pit, and they do get the dragon. Alright, so we are at 20 minutes, and we have one Drake on the side of A.P.E.S. and 2 Drakes for I5. And we have a gold lead for I5 by about 2-ish K? Almost 3-ish K? A little bit over 3-ish K. Okay, so
Brandon was goated into this matchup.
CNCS, Kolossal Kortex has about a 30 CS lead on Ornn. And I love Lucy. Isotera, really strong in the jungle, really strong power farming, and jungling, counter jungling. Mid lane is a little closer to even, but emminik does have the lead there. Yasuo, despite all of the ranged damage that is able to be done by that bot lane, has been able to maintain and increase farm quite a bit. So, third most farm in the game at this time. Looking at items, can't say that I have a good eye for best item sets here. Love to hear anybody's thoughts around some of these builds. We're seeing the Yasuo and Yone both have Immortal, which will help them survive some of these big team fights. So all 3 first towers have gone down for A.P.E.S. Kolossal Kortex coming on to Isotera with chains. Isotera is able to get out. Oh boy, it's a 4v5 or 4v1. No more. We have the rest of the team here. They're coming down on Kolossal Kortex, but he is so freaking tanky that the rest of the team is able to get here to facilitate. Seraphine ult coming out. Ornn ult coming out. Able to knock them up. Cheez is able to slay Yasuo in the middle of this team fight. Isotera coming down next, but Urchin Merchant has ult. Vex coming in from a mile away, coming onto emminik. Not quite able to land. emminik does go down, shut down onto Cheez. Big team fight. Isotera waiting to get out of there, but man, the silence prevents it. There are 2 left. Vex ult still is up. Exciting. Lucy is pretty close to tower. Not close enough. We're going in. Team getting some damage out there. But no additional. So A.P.E.S. will be pushing in the mid tower here. Fabulous team fight. Really good focus. Man, Kolossal Kortex is hard to bring down. They are able to get I Love Lucy as well. Kolossal Kortex trying to chase down Urchin Merchant, but realizing, we have that tower, and RIPDusty is up as well. Let's back up. Lots of good healing coming out from Cheez, Seraphine as well. They're looking to try to take this tower and maybe take another kill or 2 in the meantime. And they do take their next tower. Really big team fight. That's a lot of gold to spend. Folks are going to head out of town, head back to base, and spend that money. So big shutdown gold went to Seraphine in the middle of that fight, which is really, really great for Seraphine. And Kolossal Kortex just getting bigger and bigger, has a 200 gold shutdown at this time. With a 5-1 and 2 scoreline. And that is slowly closing the gap here for A.P.E.S. who are now still a little bit less than 2k behind I5, but that is definitely helping them stay in this game and get more and more on the board. Poor Dorski can't catch a freaking break here. No camps are allowed to be his. He is trying his darndest. He's going to clear that top wave a little bit before heading back. But we have I5 posturing around the Baron at this time. And they're looking to maybe see if they can get some vision, maybe get a pick here or there. They are lying in wait.
I mean,
Nobody is coming, but somebody may
welcome.
come soon. As the man sitting across the room from me has said, this may be a funnel Garen strat. Oh, they're going in hard for RH Cheez. Able to flash over the wall. Ooh, but the Yasuo ult lands and RH Cheez does go down to Yone, who was thirsting for any kind of kills. That will be the first one for RIPDusty this game. But there will be more to come. It has been a pretty light kill game. It is only 8-6 right now. They are playing a very tight game, really good strategy for both teams. Everybody's posturing. There's no... Well, the dragon will be up in 15 seconds, so they'll be looking for dragon here. Baron is also up. But this will be sole point for I5 if they are able to take it. Isotera beginning dragon over there. Teleport coming in from RH Cheez. Side of Lucy not quite able to land it. It is a 3v5 over the wall. Lots of kills happening. Zillion is able to save himself. Whew! Wow. What started as a really strong looking fight for the A.P.E.S. sadly does not end in their favor. They only take 1 for their 5, and I5 is able to take that dragon with impunity. And Ornn teleports to the top side of the map to push in for that top tower, and they will be looking at Baron. And it has just been pinged. Alright, so looking at post that fight, we have a new bounty that has popped up onto Gwen, Isotera. 350 gold bounty there. Able to get a couple of kills in that team fight, and they are able to take 1 tower, looking at maybe a second, but I Love Lucy said, you know what, my health is, a little less than a third. Maybe I'll take a camp or 2 and then head out. emminik and Urchin Merchant pushing pretty quickly against the bot side tower there. I Love Lucy being caught out by Zanrick, but he's able to wander away safely. And they are able to get that tower on the bot side of the map. So lots of gold in the favor of I5. And we see that objective bounties have popped up for the A.P.E.S. So as they start trying to take some of those towers, maybe Baron next, they'll be able to get back in this game a little bit more. Yone looking to come around for another team fight here. Getting into position, clearing some wards. With I5 pushing in to come down to the mid tower. Or at least hang around the area for what they presume will be a bigger team fight soon. Yone deciding to switch toward pushing bot side. Trying to keep the waves even and pushing into their side of the map. Roots onto I Love Lucy and Urchin. We're not going to start a team fight just yet. Going to wait for Kolossal Kortex to get here. Whew! Does not land an Urchin Merchant bomb. But Yone does land a knock-up, but decides not to go in just yet. Gonna save that for next time. We do have all ults up across both teams, so the next team fight is going to be a big one. But they are going to be looking for that top tower. Everybody from I5 is rotating beautifully as a team to take that or that top tower that they see is not very large. So Isotera are going to be taxing in the wave as RIPDusty and emminik push the blue wave in. We do see a team fight happening toward the mid lane. iiiii getting some damage taken from Kolossal Kortex. emminik going into Zanrick, who ults to save. Dorski trying to get in there for iiiii, not quite able to make it, gets taken down by Merchant. Lots of damage coming out onto Kolossal Kortex, who is living and making it out alive for the moment. Ihiri and Zanrick coming together to try to provide some support. But alas, they lose 2 more. They're hanging in there. They're going to be protecting this tower. But it looks like I5 will be pushing in. Looks like they're rotating toward Baron, so gonna go for that Baron at this time to help push in those waves. Good team fight. It's a tough one. So looking now, we have bounties on not only Gwen, but also on Yone and Zillion. So they're able to take that Baron. Probably, maybe look into back. Purchase some things, heal up, get ready for that next and final set of pushes. And with Dragon Soul coming up, they'll be ready soon. So Zanrick looking to get some vision. Wow! Folks, look at this vision across the map for I5. They have some super solid deep vision, and the deepest over there even close to the A.P.E.S.'s base. They have a couple pink wards out as well. Well, 3 pink wards out as well as a bunch of others. Oh, and we have a pause coming in. Not sure which one this is for. Alright, so Dorski had 3000 ping, or roughly in that ballpark. Don't know how long the pause will be lasting here, but we'll be waiting to make sure that everything is good with him before they resume. So the internet trolls have not only been affecting emminik today, sadly they're also taking Dorski. Yeah, sure, he's fine. He doesn't need that to, run in and hit the right targets. Who needs it? Alright, so thoughts so far on the match. What do the Apes need to get in, stay in this game? What do you think? So the next objective, as we can see, is going to be Dragon, which will be up in about 20 seconds. There hopefully will be a big team fight push for that, but we will see who will grab that. So that's going to be next. But after that, what are we looking at? What do we think? To respond about the comment for the patch, I have not tried to play ranked today, so I can't speak to that. Sadly not a Riot employee.
Dude,
However, we are able to queue here because this is a tournament draft that is a custom. Alright, Dorski reconnecting. I'll be rejoining the chat here in just a moment, or hopefully rejoining the game here in just a moment. Alright, so back to the... Some have said, I've heard whispers that for this game, funneling more onto Kolossal Kortex, who's already quite ahead with 7 and 3 as part of the scoreline. Maybe the strategy for getting back into this game. So supporting Garen as he does Garen things, spinning to win. We are back to being live. We see that RIPDusty and Merchant are waiting for somebody to come try to get some vision. Now it looks like we are being stopped. Hopefully it can restart in just a moment. Frozen here on my screen. Ah, the internet gods are not our friend today. Yep, thank you for the heads up. Sadly cannot fix the background noise. Thank you all for your patience as you hear the hubby playing this game. He's one of the players. He's Zanrick on the A.P.E.S team here. So we have a stun coming out onto Dorski, but no team fight happening just yet. But Yone is now, for the second one, coming in and just taking Lulu's life. Goes down very quickly. Looking to continue here. Ornaut coming in, deciding to focus down on Kolossal Kortex as the rest of his team comes around to regroup. Fear coming out onto Urchin Merchant. emminik goes in to try to focus down Ihiri. Ult coming from Cheez. Not quite able to land there. And red team does take the dragon. So they are down one teammate, but who will be up in just a moment. They're going to be holding against this Baron buff and this Cloud Soul. Which is nice to have those ults up very frequently. emminik deciding to come in under tower, trying to get Cheez, and is successful in doing so. They don't quite have a wave, but they'll probably be looking topside to see if they can get a tower there. Isotera in the meantime taking the bot lane tower and now also taking the inhib. Kolossal Kortex staving off I Love Lucy from taking the top tower, while Ihiri and Zanrick trying to hold the mid tower. emminik coming in. They're able to back away, but they do lose a turret and an inhib in the meantime. Yasuo coming in on Ihiri. Ults coming in from Kolossal Kortex and ulted by Lulu to stay alive. Olaf trying to get out of there, not quite able to do so. Isotera taking some tower damage, but not quite enough to kill her. This is a 5v4. They're holding under towers, but they have lost all of their inhibs. This is going to be tough next wave if they can hold out for this next fight. Whew, emminik coming in to get some damage out. Ornn ult is back up. Thank you, Cloud Soul. And they are going in. Beautiful ult from Cheez. Not quite able to kill RIPDusty, who is living. Ah, there he goes down now. Zilean able to get the ult off on Ornn. But Ornn is back up, able to flash away. And they are able to make it out. And there are no towers, no inhibitors protecting that base. So Nexus is open. They're going to look to take some camps out of town, spend that money, heal up, and they'll be ready for the next round. But this leaves A.P.E.S to pick up a lot of gold as these waves are pushing in. Oh, Isotera coming onto Zanrick. Everfrost able to come out from Zilean, and Lulu does lose his life. Isotera then going for Ihiri next, but Kolossal Kortex is there. Whew. And Isotera takes another one. And another. Whew. This is the last fight. Seraphine ult coming out. Not quite able to get enough damage off to kill emminik. The rest of the team is down. Cheez is the lone wolf standing, and they are going onto the base to kill him. It does take 2 in the process, but it is not enough to keep them from ending the game. Pentakill onto Gwen. Very well played by both teams. Whew. Gwen scaling up really well, getting a lot of fights, especially in those last few team fights. Nicely done, and we'll move to the post-game stats. All right. So feel free to take a look. Advanced details doesn't always work for me, but you can go ahead and take a look at what we have so far. Isotera, no surprise, especially after those last few team fights, taking the most damage in the game.
And game 2.
And the highest CS as well. Or second highest, I apologize. emminik had the highest CS. Zanrick, no surprise, able to take the best vision score there as well. Makes it a habit of doing the best he can there. All right, we have some of the teams coming in. Others, feel free to join as you are ready from the A.P.E.S. Finish looking at some of the details here. And it doesn't want to load yet again. But we'd love to get the post-game stats from the teams as well as the game ID, if you please. But welcome so far to I5. Good to have you guys here. Let me know if anybody needs to be unmuted. All right, and we have a few folks coming in from the A.P.E.S as well. Glad to have you guys. All right, so folks in the chat, please, we'd love to hear your questions for Game 1 and Game 2, but we'll start with the classic in asking about picks and bans from the first game, and then we'll talk about Game 1 gameplay, and then we'll move into Game 2. So, whoever feels like starting, we would love to hear your thoughts about the picks and bans from Game 1.
I'll go.
Thanks, sir.
So we banned Pike, Evelyn, Seraphine for the first 3, like for our first round. Just it was, I don't know, more so to get Pike out of the lane, and I know Ross loves his Seraphine. And
Facts.
So broken. You don't even have to play the game.
Truth.
and then they picked Tom Kench, so we locked in Vi Samira, and then we kind of just went from there with and then the late game scaling with the Kale in the mid lane. Nothing too crazy, kind of just stuck with comfort as much as we could.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely want to ask some questions about Game 1, because as hopefully you know, sadly, we were not able to stream the first game. We'd love for a volunteer to help us go back and stream it and record it, but we'd love to talk a little bit about that more in just a bit. emminik, picks and bans.
Yeah, when the toad needs to be unloaded, you take that toad and you take it off the truck. It's time to unload the toad. Tom Kench is an urgent merchant staple, so we were very lucky that fell to us. And then when we saw Vi, Morgana was kind of what we had been planning on, because we know Dorski's Vi is really strong, and I can flex Morgana middle if I have to. So Morgana could have gone jungle or mid, depending on what the middle matchup looked like. So we flexed a Morgana there, and then got Ornn just to hold down the top lane, just because that's the Ornn's king of weak side top. And then I ended up, Misfortune was like the Wombo stack that we definitely needed the AD for. And then I ended up on Malzahar, and I'm not happy about it. And I don't know if it went great, but it didn't go bad, so I'll take it.
It's the best you can ask for. Yeah, I have to say, when Quinstone was here for a minute when we were talking about picks and bans, we're really curious to see the Morgana jungle. And I don't know if, I think Isotera's in here, but I'd love to hear you talk a little bit about, let me make sure that you're unmuted too. Talk a little bit about that pick and how it went for you, because again, we weren't able to see the gameplay for Game 1.
Yes. So Morgana Jungle has been a pick of mine for a long time now. I picked it up even like back before, because it was broken back in 2021. They played it. It was pick or ban back in MSI, because I had the fastest clear in the game and stuff like that. I had learned how to clear before that, because she has a really funky multi-can't clear. So I learned to clear before that. And then it was super broken at MSI, and I just kind of abused it in solo queue. Got a super high win rate, learned how to play it. And it's just sort of been a pocket pick of mine since then, that I just throw out against champions that really want to run at you and use a bunch of hard CC. So I keep that in my pocket for like Vi, for Trundle, for Nunu, for champs like that just want to lock you down and gun it at you, where they're limited by Morgana stuff.
For sure. And having 2 spell shields in the game for Malzahar on himself, and then Morgana as well, who can put it on herself or anybody else, really huge, especially into those Vi ults and Nautilus ults too. But yeah, I just didn't realize that Morgana was still a good jungler, so it was really nice to see that change of pace there.
Oh yeah, she clears really, really fast, and she's still Morgana. She's still a really good pick.
Heck yeah. I would love to hear just overall thoughts, overall comments about how laning phase went, how some of the objective fights went, just on a broad level, anything that stuck out to anybody on either team from game 1. Any major takeaways, any major thoughts? What went well, what didn't go well, what went differently, unexpectedly?
I must applaud the Toad, and then, of course, some really, really great MF ults coming out of Misfortune to win that game. I think all I did was walk around and silence stuff as Malzahar. That's all I really remember doing. and then most of the time Dorski would kill me. So I think that's how game 1 went. But man, oh man, MF was ultin.
That's awesome. Especially, like, I imagine with the Ornn ult and the Tahm Kench knock-up and everything else, that has to be a lot. Dorski, any thoughts about how game 1 went for you guys? And any phase of the game, or just overall comments? Or anybody else from your team as well? Oh, sorry. Don't know how you keep getting muted. Apologies.
Oh, it's all good. Well, our whole plan was just to blow up MF as soon as we could, and the Tahm Kench kind of just negated that as much as possible. Or when we managed to get onto Misfortune, he would just take Samira out of the R. So that kind of hurt most of our plans. And then we tried to get Garen ahead topside. And it was just with all the spell shields and with the Ornn ult and Tahm Kench, it was just with the MF ult behind all that, with the Malzahar silence, it just didn't really go in our favor a whole lot. They had a really good Wombo combo.
Absolutely. And as we were talking about the spell shields before, yeah, having the silences on your team as well, so you can't quite get those ults that you want to get out, or other abilities too, makes it very challenging. Well, thank you guys. So moving into game 2, let's talk about picks and bans there. Whoever wants to go first.
Sure. So we tried to run this comp yesterday, and the Krabby Patties picked the Yone first, blue side, so we didn't get to run it. So we ran it today. Yasuo Yone, we've been wanting to pull this one out. This is a lot of fun and a great matchup. They banned away a ton of our AP options. We really wanted Yasuo Yone Diana, which would have really sent this to the moon. But we'll take a really spicy Gwen jungle as well. Zillion, just to kind of make it really unkillable once you pass 2 items. And then again, Ornn is king of weak side top, so behold, Ornn.
I love that. Behold Ornn. And we'll ask about this in just a minute. I'll talk about picks and bans from Dorski's perspective as well before we ask some of the questions from the chat.
So we ended up banning the Tahm Kench over the Seraphine and first picking Seraphine because Tahm Kench was a big problem in the first game. And then we ended up going with the double AP, double Enchantress bot lane to get some carry out of the jungle on top. And then we picked the Vex because we figured it was going to be Yone mid. And
behold,
that was pretty much our, yeah, that was the comp right there.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I think. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to go Viego, but someone just had to ban it from me.
The last minute Viego swipe.
I was crying.
Swipe or no swipey. Did not work this time.
Yeah, that was the whole plan, was to get the double Enchantress with the Viego and a carry top lane.
I think Olaf is still a good pick there, but I feel for you.
Mortar Viego, so we took the Viego.
Good choices. Do you want to hear perspectives from both teams about playing as and playing against the Yasuo Yone comp? Because I know, emminik, as you mentioned, you were talking about this yesterday. Sad you didn't get to do it then. Got to do it today. How'd it feel? And Dorski, how did it feel into that?
To play, it's like dumb post 25, like post 30, 2 items on both of them, with some good support is really dumb. Like you can delete people or Wombo combo, and we never really got off a true Wombo this game. So like after a game, Dylan and I were, well, Dylan in particular was like, "Yo, we got to talk, and you got to tell me stuff." And I was like, "Yo, you're totally right, my guy." So we got to work on our Womboing, because then it's really gonna take off. But yeah, I was really excited to like get this on stream and get it going, and it went well. Not as well as we had hoped. We're gonna practice and be better at it in future, and I'm excited for that. But yeah, it went well.
Especially if you get Ornn again too to pop off that Yasuo ult in yet another way. Fabulous. Dorski, how did it feel?
Not good. No, it was yeah, just the knockups from Ornn, and then just them being able to knock up constantly R and in. It made it pretty hard to like get in. If we went in on the Yone, Ornn would knock us up, and then Yasuo would come in, and then Yone would ult again 22 seconds later in the late game, and it was a lot to keep up with in the later game fights for sure.
Ugh, yeah, that Cloud Soul hurting. Those ults were up all the time. Any other thoughts or questions from the chat or from you guys here about Game 2? Major takeaways, things you would have done differently, things that were unexpected, things that you loved, were excited to see. I know that big team fight that A.P.E.S was able to have starting in their jungle and then kind of across to the Baron pit and back toward mid. That was really big. Really excited to see that. Sadly, wasn't quite enough to get all the way back into the game and be able to push in hard after that, but I love to see that. That was great. Also, Goob3S also gave props to Lulu for always polymorphing Horn as he ulted. I saw it at least 2 or 3 times. Really, really well done in terms of the polymorphing there. As well as for Zilean, a lot of clutch ult saves and bomb stunts as well.
Yeah, extra shout out to Zilean. We played Yasuo Yone comp with a Gwen carry jungle, and Zilean did the most damage on our team.
It's just not right. But Isotera had, I believe, the most damage this game overall. Those last few team fights, not to say just the pentakill right before the Nexus went down, but as the team fights were happening toward the end of the game, lots of good kills there.
Actually, no. I'm looking at it right now. It was the Zilean.
Oh, okay.
About 1,000 damage. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Nice.
you got,
Yeah.
I know.
That's big. Very big. Very well played, guys. All right. Any other last thoughts from anybody? Happy to unmute about Game 2 or going back to Game 1 before we move into the MVP. All right. Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move into MVPs. This is traditionally what we do at the end of our matches. We'll go ahead and start with whichever team is feeling comfortable. Please share your MVP for the enemy team. You can choose one game 1 and game 2 as separate individuals, or you can just give one overall. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Game 1, I'm gonna say MVP was Kolossal. Dealing with Garen late game, game 1 was their win condition, I think, and he stepped into that win condition admirably and in a big way. And in game 2, I think in game 2 I'll give it to Zanrick and Ihiri, Lulu and Vex, for womboing super well at that one team fight we totally blundered in their jungle and blowing us up. Whenever we couldn't get to the Seraphine too, we were also pretty screwed. So the whole bot lane and Ihiri really, really covered their bases for a long time in that game.
Awesome. Thank you, emminik. And Dorski.
For game 1, I'm gonna have to give it to Urchin on the Toad. And then for our team, I'll have to give it to Kolossal And for game 2, I'll have to give it to emminik on the Yone. And for our team, I'll also have to give it to Kolossal Kortex again.
Good. Very strong. Awesome. Thank you guys. Any other last thoughts? Any last questions that are burning for those of you in the chat? Give it the super solid, awkward couple of seconds. All right. Hearing none. Love you guys. Thank you so much for playing. Really excited to see first couple of games for week 5. And congrats to i5 for your wins. And holy cow for bringing it for another night in a row. It wasn't even 24 hours ago that you had your last set of games. So well played, guys. Good energy. I'm looking forward to seeing folks for the next one.
We literally copy pasted one of our drafts.
You did it. It happened.
Great games though. Holy smoke.
Thanks for streaming.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
thank you for streaming.
Absolutely. Sorry again for the blunder for game 1. We'll get that streamed and recorded at a later time.
Also, thank you for streaming. Thank you for casting.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
Not the best at
often
it.
we get our games casted.
Happy to be here. I'm not the best at it, but happy to do it again whenever is needed.
Hey, you know, you're putting the effort in. We appreciate that.
Heck yeah. Appreciate you guys. All right, we'll go ahead and wrap up. Everybody, we have our next game between the French Toasters and Doc's Biggest Fans. Was scheduled to be on Sunday, but I believe it is being moved to Monday because a lot of TFT players are not able to make it on Sunday. So we'll hopefully see you all then for the next game. In the meantime, hope you guys are staying well, staying cool, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.